What is up, Honey Badger Nation? I am super excited for today's episode. We are at episode 87 of Expert Mentors Live. And this today's conversation, I've been trying to wrestle her down for quite a while now. And I appreciate Miss Veronica for making time. She's super busy. She's traveling, actually just landed, got off the airplane, got to the hotel, set up shop in the lobby there at the hotel, and ready to dive in. So Veronica, say what's up to the Honey Badger Nation.
What's up, my Honey Badger family? I'm super excited to do this. You know, John has definitely been trying to get me pinned down, and it's funny because I'm always nervous when you ask me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most elite of the elites and the people that I look up to every day. So it's an honor to be here and to just kind of like share our experience and what we hopefully can contribute to their business, if there's anything. And I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you as well. And you know, I was going through and setting everything up for the call, and I always like to kind of find a quote that ties into kind of what we're going to be diving into, or who's coming on. And I found that Amy quote that I put at the top on the post, and I was like, yeah, this is Veronica, perfect.
Oh,
right here.
I loved it. I was like, damn.
Well, cool. I know, you know, today's topic, and definitely, you know, what you bring, you know, with the attraction side of things, just attracting people in general to your life through inspiration, through leadership, and by taking massive action. And I'm really excited to dive in with you today, and just, you know, have this conversation and just let you share with everybody, you know, really what it is that you live, right? You embody this. This isn't something that you have to manifest. It's just who you are at your core.
Yeah. And, you know, again, I always want to make sure I come from contribution and bring value. But, you know, one of the things that's allowed me to grow is just living and speaking my authentic truth, right? My journey, what's worked for me, what I've learned about myself, and what I have been able to just experience as a leader and as someone who's just obsessed with this industry, right? And man, I'm living the dream. I am living the dream. I am finally free. I am no longer held hostage. And that's what I want to share with everyone. But yet when I thought that, you know, I was truly being a success story or a top producer, I was living my deepest misery. I was not truly living in authenticity. So that's what today I really want to just talk about. I want to talk about, you know, how was it that we were able to implode our team and still grow and attract the right people in our world by being extremely authentic, being clear as to what we want, living our truest purpose as a leader, and being okay with some of the things that, you know, happen. You know, I'm a team leader. I am obsessed with all things teams. And one of the things I have learned through coaching and growth is that people will leave you. People will come into your life and they will go, you know, they will stay, and others will grow and others will leave. And Michael taught us that. You know, he was like, you know, we can't hold these people hostage.
Right.
You know, but what, you know, and then I was talking to someone else last night, and they were like, you know, I lost a couple team members, and I was like, great, let's go get 5 more people. Who else are we going to inspire? Who else are you going to grow? You know, because that person has committed 4 to 5 years from you. Let's look at the positive. You made an impact in their life. Let's duplicate that. Because if you have a duplicatable process and a system to help, you know, grow agents up in the business, you know, it's a positive that they're ready to grow and leave you. So, you know, not to ramble too much on the intro, but, you know, I think that that's what I really want to dive deep, because I have a lot of people ask me, like, how'd you grow a team? Or, you know, how'd you get to, you know, 600 plus agents? You know, I really don't think that there's a, you know, a magic pill. I think it's years and years of building something that was so magnetic that people just know it's a true representation as to who we are. I have people who call us and want to join our team, and they say 3 common things. You guys inspired me. I can't help but see you everywhere. And I want, you know, I see the success story that other people are having in your world. That's enough for me. I don't talk about our fancy leads. I don't talk about how our splits, what our splits look like, because truthfully, we don't have the sexiest splits on my team.
Right.
I tell people that all the time. If you're coming to join my team, it definitely isn't because I want to be your lead pimp. I have leads and I have opportunities, but it's not what I'm looking to do. And it's a common theme as we've gotten really clear as to who we are and what we're doing. And it's been those three things, inspiration, they see the growth in other people, and they see that we are consistent in everything that we do in branding and consistently putting ourselves out there. And they want to be able to be a part of our world. And whether what I have been clear on as a leader is that partnership with them may be 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe forever. It just depends on what's important to them. So instead of focusing on what's important to me, I focus on what's important to them, and then the magic happens.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of things there to kind of pull out. The one thing that you said that, really got me kind of thinking, and question that I would love for you to dive a little bit deeper and unpack on. You said, there's a lot of good that's happened over the last couple of years, but you were just in a miserable place. And I know a lot of folks listening in probably, potentially going through some struggles. And so, I don't think we need to get into, how miserable things were or how bad things possibly were, but like, what are some of the key things that helped you kind of pull out of that and, kind of brought you to where we're at today?
Yeah, I started really thinking about the things that were causing me anxiety and that were causing me, unnecessary stress. And again, top producer consistently in my, local market, crushing numbers, growing, but I was doing it with the wrong people, or, I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And I got really clear as to what I wanted from my life, the joy, the happiness. And I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan for people in my world to grow. And that was keeping me up at night. I didn't have a true pathway for, an exit strategy. That was keeping me up at night. I no longer had a value proposition with the company that I was at. That was keeping me up at night. It was just this rat race that was just so intense. I didn't have collaboration with other people that I looked up to or aspired to be, and ego was just eating at me. It was just like, my name on spotlights, my name on the door, this is my place. And, I can't really pinpoint what, because it was a lot of things, but I just knew I was not happy. I wasn't happy in relationships with my agents. I wasn't happy in relationships with, some of my staff. I wasn't happy in relationship with some of the things of the industry. And I felt a little rejected for some of the choices I was making. Everybody knows, or a lot of people who know me know that I challenge the status quo in a lot of things. And some of the people that, were supposed to be in my world were not clapping for me, and I was a broker. I had an office, I was a franchise owner, and I had that hybrid model, like, yeah, come and work for my office. You have a pulse, you can work here, and I wasn't getting clear as to who I wanted to be in business. I wasn't being clear as to who I wanted to be in business with. When I started getting really, really crystal clear as to what it would take to be in business with me, and the same, what I needed to do to be in business with them, things started changing. I started realizing, wow, this is a reflection of me, of my leadership style. So I got to work on me. I made a commitment that I had to work on me first so that I could truly help people. So some of the things that I realized, John, was like, I was not happy as a broker. I was not a very good broker to the agents who were those hybrid agents that, just wanted to hang their license and, be the ones that talk at the water cooler and make the highest split, but yet cause you the most stress.
Right.
And that was eating away at me. I was having a lot of ambiguous relationships with people just because they were making me a few dollars, and they really weren't people I wanted to be aligned with.
Right.
And it wasn't that they were bad people. It's just, I was not a good broker for them. I was not the person for them. So that was one of the reasons.
How did you let go of that? Right. A lot of people just feel, the ego, the control, right. One of the pillars to our ego is the control. How did you just breathe for a second and let that go?
I started coaching with John Black, and, I read The Shadow Effect, and, John says it, and it's not to sound cliche. It's like, where else is this showing up in your life? So I had an inward outlook And I started saying, is it them or is it me? Is it them or is it me? And it really wasn't that. I mean, I'm cool with a lot of agents that I don't no longer work with. But where was I truly finding joy was on my team. And I said, well, maybe I'm a really good team leader. Maybe I'm a really good coach, but I just suck as a broker.
Yeah.
So it wasn't them. And then it was me declaring it and just being honest that one of those agents who loved me and was, team Veronica, the broker, she says, well, what if you found us a broker? And what if you could go and do what you want to do? And you're just, honest with the fact that you just don't have the heart for it anymore. And I said, all right, what's that look like? Let's work through that. So just, just that self-realization that, I had all the answers. I was just not leaning into the solution.
Right.
And then instantly, I just got really clear. I was honest. I went to my franchise. I said, look, I'm not happy. I don't want to be the broker anymore, but I'm going to find you a good broker. I went to my husband. I said, I want to go to EXP. Like, this is what my soul is telling me we need to do. And he says, I support you. I told my team, this is what I'm wanting to do. And I may mess up along the way, but I ask you guys to trust me. And I believe I'm doing this because there's a better way for you when you're ready to grow. I started being honest with the areas of my life as well that were causing me anxiety personally. I was doing a lot of heavy drinking. I was curing my anxiety with, taking on more business that I couldn't truly complete.
Saying yes to everything.
Saying yes to everything and not closing the loops, like John says, right?
Yep.
And it was causing me more anxiety. So I started saying, okay, what do I need to do in my life to truly work on me? And then it'll start reflecting. I didn't realize it was going to start reflecting outward. So what happened was, John, this is where the real breakthrough happened. I just publicly declared my situation and I was just honest. And the moment I started just being, instead of being Veronica, the top producer, rock star, and I started just being Veronica, the human being, the person that's relatable, the person that has similar struggles, and that, although she's operating at a high level in business,
Yep.
She's being honest in certain areas of her life and being vulnerable. All of a sudden the woodworks come out. Everybody's like, oh, I'm like you. I faced some of those challenges too. Like, can I hop on a call with you? Can you help me with that? I love that you're sharing your pain points. I would love to be in business with you. I would love to learn from you. And I never realized that the truth was always in front of me. The truth was in me. And it was just being so authentic. So, that really is part of, that topic that, that bullet point we talked about of, I stopped selling that we had the most leads, that we had this. I started selling my truth, my honesty, that we have agents on our team that have had struggles, but we celebrate their triumphs. And also we talk about some of those challenges that they have.
Absolutely.
Because there's someone out there like them that can probably benefit from hearing their story. When I hopped on stage and I got a chance to speak in front of 2,600 people that I admired, and my opening speech was that I was 16 and pregnant. That was something that I struggled for months. Like, what am I going to talk to these people about? And it was someone very close to me that said, tell them your story. And it was where I was able to tell them, I went bankrupt. I was 16 and pregnant. I've been divorced. I invested in the wrong businesses, but I got back up. And that's where the true magic happened. When I was like, this is me. This is all I got. What you see is what you get.
The thing that, previous to that, people couldn't relate to you, right? When you try to, position yourself as perfect this, and you're selling all of, hey team, we did this, people cannot relate to you. And the moment that you let that guard down and you just truth, that's where people can connect, right? And that's where the inspiration and like you said, veronicainspires.com, right? Like I saw that, I was like, money, that's perfect, right? Because that's who you are. And you had to go through all of that stuff to be able to even get to that point.
I'll tell you this. I remember the moment because we won Most Innovative Team of the Year at Inman in 2017. And So got off stage, I felt empty. It's like, okay, let's go back at it. And I was going through some of the darkest times of my life that I had not even realized. I was so caught up on success that I wasn't paying attention to what was happening around me. My team was imploding. My son, I didn't even realize that he was going through struggles, that I had to put him in rehab the week after. My marriage was falling apart. My, business was falling apart, but it looked good on paper.
Right.
So that's when I started really just having that authentic conversation with myself of what success was for me. And the success I'm experiencing now is so much more fulfilling than what I ever experienced. And you can give me any award, all these different things, that no longer means to me. Tell me the people that I'm impacting. Tell me the lives that I'm helping. Tell me the people that I'm having finally have breakthroughs in their lives. And that's how I'll measure success now.
Yeah. That's how those stories are what drives everything. And, just that inspiration, and, definitely appreciate you, definitely being vulnerable with everybody here and sharing your story. Let's dive in, to kind of where things are at, especially over the last, 12, 18 months. A lot has happened. I mean, a lot has happened. And so just let's talk a little bit about from the massive growth that you've experienced and like you said, leading with that inspiration and really leading in the leadership side of things with your people. Let's talk a little bit about that, how that process has just kind of unfolded for you.
So the heart was exposed, but the talent and the focus was always there. So it's like, let's go. Listen, this is who we are. This is what we're embarking on. I need you to trust me. I'm getting naked with you guys, like the naked truth, right? We talked about that in Key West, but it's go time. It is go time. We are on a mission to continue to be trailblazers in this industry, the hardest working people in the room, the person who wants to help build other people's careers. What do we have to do? We got to get to work, right? So what happened after that transition was, I started recruiting the talent that I needed to get me to the next level. I started with the end in mind. I knew I had to do a completely different rebrand. I mean, if most of you know me before EXP, the logo in my name, in my team name was Remax. Like I had the Remax balloon in my logo. I had to figure out, how do I rebrand? How do I still keep the name and the presence that we have in our community? How do I operate from abundance and not in fear and still build this? How do I launch Zillow offers? All within the same week of transitioning to EXP. How do I put all the pieces in place to be strategic, to make sure that we don't skip a beat? We take on this new acquisition account. We're going to be a market dominator, and we leave the company that we have been with for almost 10 years where people knew us. Knowing that all of that was going to come down the pipeline all within a matter of 10 days. Right. And it had been strategic planning. I had to get very crystal clear. So like I said, the foundation was getting clear as to who we were and what we needed to do. Speaking from authenticity and just getting really, really raw. Then it was like laser focused on what needed to happen. I recruited a director of operations. I hired from within. I started realizing, who did I need on my team? And me being the visionary, the one with all these ideas, I needed someone who could help me implement. And I could be in business with you guys and all that. But you guys, obviously are coaching us at scale, right? And motivating and giving us vision at scale. But I had to do the work internally. I was like, okay, who is going to be my dream team to help me go from 300 to 400 transactions to 1,000, to also know, like Jay Kinder said to me, he was like, when you make your announcement, you need to be ready to have people help you because you are going to attract talent. That was he truly believed that. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Ain't nobody got to worry about us coming over. That's nice, but it's not really going to happen. But he said, think about it. So I had to have who was going to be the one to make sure we were organized to handle those partners that were raising their hands and saying, I've been thinking about it. Now that you did it, you poked holes at it. Now I want to do it. And what was I going to have in place? So I had, been prepping myself, with Carlos, Gil, everybody, like saying, listen, if I get bottleneck, who's going to help me? Because I have a big machine over here I have to keep running. We are a team that operates at high levels. I have At the time, I came over with 17 agents. I had 4 staff members. I since then have doubled to over 40, a staff of 13 and almost 40 agents. And we just had our eye on the prize. And then on top of that, I got Zillow, you know, interviewing me to say, are you the right partner to scale Zillow offers? And I knew nobody wanted that account more than me. I helped beta test instant offers. Could you have imagined me not getting that account? But guess what? I had to fight. I had to interview for that. I took a mock office that I had that was pretty much empty, and I staged it just for the interview. So I'm that person that I'm so scrappy. I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. So all of that was, you know, again, the foundation of love and inspiration and getting really clear was laid. Then it was like, let's get to work. So we just got really clear, and I knew if I was going to come on to EXP and join, I wanted to be a success story. I knew I wanted to really, really leverage the opportunities that we had in front of us. So the challenge was, how do you run a high operating team, and how do you recruit? How do you attract? How do you take advantage of that pillar? I just started picking up the phone and calling the people that I love, that I trust, that trust me, that know me. And I, you know, started just basically saying, dude, I just want to share what we're doing. Like, we're having a blast. We're pumped. We're excited. Like, I feel like this is home for me, and I just want to share it with you. And we just started, instead of vomiting EXP, we started sharing our experience with the transition, our experience with the people that we're finally in business with, that are just helping us grow and expand our mindset. And it just started like clockwork. Hey, I want to talk to you. Hey, I'm excited. Oh my God, Veronica, like, I'm so glad that you did this. Like, I've been thinking about it, and I didn't have the courage to do it, you know, without having someone that I trusted. You know, I'd love to talk a little bit more about it with you. And I'm like, just be honest and let people know you're passionate. I was like, sign me up. I was like, you know, can you hear me? Because it looks like my internet is maybe
you froze up for a second, but we got you back.
Okay. So it was just like, all I have to do is tell people, all I got to do is call Michael, Jay, and like, make this introduction. I was like, done. So I started balancing my team. But what I started doing really, really well was, and this is key, and I want everybody listening to this call, if you're still with us, what I started doing was building leaders within my organization, my team, to give me the leverage that I needed so that I could focus on the other areas of my business that I was passionate about and that I knew would bring me joy. And in turn, it was, you know, validating that I had leaders in front of me.
Yeah. And
now my team has stepped up in a way that's just like, you guys don't need me anymore. And they're like, we got you. We're good. No. Like, I'm away for the next 3 weeks. And it's like, I don't worry about it because I have leaders. So I had to, like, again, I had all this excitement, but it was transferred through the people that I had on my team that were saying, man, this is the best thing that's ever happened to us. We're so excited. It's allowed them to step up. So now I have a recruiter, I have a director of ops, I have an ISA department, I have 2 ISAs, an ISA manager, I have a creative director, I have a director of agent experience. Her job is to make sure that every agent who comes on board is wowed and loved and nurtured. You know, and we still have a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of work to do because I still struggle with the agent attraction side of the business. Although we have accomplished what a lot of people would think, you know, some impressive numbers, we're missing opportunities because, you know, people are coming so quickly that they want to talk, and, you know, there's only one of me, and there's, you know, a lot of them, and, you know, we want to be present and we want to make sure that we're going to make an impact in their lives. But yeah, that's what happened. We got to work. We took action, and that's where we talked about that bullet point of, like, you know, how do you grow, you know, and how do you come up with a master plan? It was taking action. We were like, let's do this, let's go, you know, and we're gonna fail our way forward. And we just started taking massive action. We started hosting events. We started making sure I was traveling to other areas. I was networking and masterminding with other teams who were performing at high levels, and it just happened organically.
Critical. It's critical. A couple things there. I definitely want to emphasize for everybody listening in. One was, taking the time and getting crystal clear on the end in mind and reverse engineering that. I mean, right things, right order. You've got to be crystal clear on what it is. What's that destination? What is it that we're working towards? And then you have to start getting clear on what does the team have to look like to be able to hit that and make that a reality. And if you don't do that and you just start taking massive action, it's going to be like, I always like to say, it's like walking up to a job site of a new construction home without the blueprint, right? And you just start randomly nailing boards together and all of a sudden, it's going to come tumbling down. So you've got to be real clear. You've got to have the team, and then, obviously taking the massive action. The one thing that I do want you to kind of emphasize on a little bit that you touched on was the brand, and really going through that process. And, when prior to when somebody said, or thought of Veronica Figueroa in the team, they thought one thing, but were really intentional to what they think now. So kind of talk a little bit on that with the brand, because I think that's a really big takeaway for everybody listening in when they're focusing in on, building their brand.
Yeah, so we brainstormed for about 2 months. We literally sat down and we asked our agents, what do we represent? What do we represent to you? And a lot of it was, again, fierce, inspiring, driven, problem solving. I'm like, okay, how do we put that in a brand? Like, how do we do that, right? And it was a struggle. It's not an easy exercise to go through. And I challenge anyone who's going through that. It's not just someone on Fiverr. You got to have some clear intention on some of this stuff. And yes, you can develop it on Fiverr, but you got to get really crystal clear as to what you're looking to represent. So I sat down with my team and I said, guys, we've got to figure out a way to put something out there that reflects and represents us, but that we're proud of. And I even questioned, do I stay the Figueroa team? Or do we go Veronica Figueroa because everybody knows Veronica Figueroa? That was the conversation. That was the ego, right? We talked about that. And I was like, no, I want to stay true to who we are. We're a team. We are the Figueroa team. And Veronica Figueroa would not be where she's at without her team. Right. And that was clear.
100%.
So, people would say Fig team, and we just started getting really clear as to what other people thought about us. And we have what I consider a beautiful, simple brand. It's the F and the T, and the T is upside down, and not just talking about the logo, but there was something behind that. And we wanted everything that we'd represent out there to represent this. And that in order to have a strong team, you need a strong foundation. And the T upside down was, in order to move up, and keep on rising, you got to be a strong pillar, but you need a strong foundation. So if you notice our F and our T is down, upside down, right? And then the frame is a circle, and we have this thing is like, nobody puts us in a box. We're always going to challenge the status quo, and we don't want to just be, we don't just want to be successful in our local market. Why can't we have global domination? Why can't we be worldwide? Why do we have to have limits? And that was something that we felt we represented. Like, we want to be limitless. We don't want any barriers. We want to just continue to just rise people and just know that. So that just started pouring out, and that was an exercise. And then our core values, fearless tenacity. We're always forward thinking. We're family oriented with family ties. Like, we just started, all these things just started coming out. And this was an exercise that was from our team and from our clients and people that we asked, what do we represent to you? So it just started coming all together. And and forget about the logo. Don't worry about the logo part. But when you can create a brand that when people say, what does it mean to be a honey badger? What does it mean to be a honey badger? And someone that's partnered with, the expert mentors, dude, yeah. We're rock stars, man. Like, everybody in here is just scrappy. We're willing to do whatever it takes. We're just willing to collaborate. I feel like that's what you guys have done. And, the reason I emphasize this is because, yes, we are a logo. Yes, we are this, but there was something deeper. And I would love for our partners who are listening to this, and anyone who's listening to this, is like, it's not just about a fancy script or a fancy logo. It's about, what do people believe you represent? you know, and I have a couple brands that I'm working on. It's, you know, Veronica Figueroa is now a brand that Michael, you know, has challenged me. It's like, what are you doing in the women's world? You know, what are you doing in the, you know, inspiring women? And I was like, always like, I don't know if that's my niche. And he's like, are you kidding me? And, you know, I'm just now developing that and really tapping into that. I have a responsibility to help lift up more women in this industry and see more women sit at some of the tables and that I've sat at that, you know, maybe, you know, I was the first Hispanic woman on Zillow's advisory board. You know, I've done some things that I'm pretty proud of, you know, and you know what, let's get some more women on stage. Let's get some more women speakers. Let's get some more women coaches. Let's do that. So, you know, that's another brand that's now curating from Veronica Inspires. And that's going to be separate. But I think any brand itself is what people truly feel that no matter what, you give me a 3-second word, 3 words, 3 bullet points. What does the Figueroa team mean to you, John? It's probably going to be similar to what we had came up with. You know, we're scrappy, you know, like we're like innovative, all these little things that just started coming out. And I want like our friends here who are watching this is that as they start assessing their brand, what's the power in your brand? What do people say about your team or about your business? Why should they join your brokerage? Or your team? It's that value proposition that speaks for itself, even when you don't have to explain it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. What comes to mind. And I agree. You've got to, you know, it was the same thing that we kind of struggled with Kinder, right? When we went independent and how we were going to juggle. And we had the same conversation, you know, going through that process. And, you know, what we settled on is like we have to leave, you know, the Kinder name in there. It's like taking Coke off the shelf. And it would be the same thing with you in your marketplace. If that wasn't there, it'd be like taking, you know, a staple brand off the shelf. And so you guys have done an incredible job. The look, the classiness, the detail. It's pretty, it's definitely, I know we keep throwing this word around, is definitely inspiring. So, one of the other kind of bullet points that we had thrown out there, the power of storytelling, and share a little bit about that and how you guys are really focusing in on that with your marketing efforts, the agent attraction efforts, everything that you're doing with the power of storytelling.
So I'll kind of touch base on one of our agents that I think we highlighted recently. We had an agent on our team that went through some personal struggles, and with her permission, you know, as we started seeing her really have amazing breakthroughs and success, you know, one day I just leaned into her. I'm like, Tiffany, tell me a little bit more about you. Like, seeing a fire in you. Like, I want to know more about this fire. You know, I come to find out that this girl, you know, had gone through a toxic relationship. She ran away from her husband, you know, had done some really courageous, made some really courageous decisions in her life, where it matters most, her family. And she's like, Veronica, like, she was so persistent. There was something about her. She was persistent. She wanted to be on our team. She wouldn't take no for an answer. We were in the middle of transitioning from Remax to EXP. We're like, I don't want to bring anyone on. I was like, I can't leak this information out. I'm under, you know, NDA. I can't like bring all these people on and then turn them around a month later and be like, hey, by the way, you know, we're, you know, leaving, and, you know, they're, yeah, I just didn't want to do that. That personally, I didn't want to do that. This girl would not let up. She was like, I am going to join your team. I need you to give me a chance. And there was something about her. We didn't even put her on lead flow. It was almost 2.5 months later. She's pounding the phone. She's doing everything that she can. And I didn't think she was going to make it. I didn't think she was going to make it on my team. She was different, but different in a good way, but just different.
Gotcha.
And I was like, there's something about her. There's something about her. And when I started, and I tell you this not to bore you, I tell you this because there's a purpose here. When you get to know your people and you get to know the reason why people want to succeed so bad, that's when you could really make that connection. The story comes into play was she had a killer month. She put 10 under contract in 1 month. And I started watching her habits, and she was doing everything we were telling her to do. You know, we finally put her on lead flow. She was crushing the phone. She was doing everything, her follow-up, everything was amazing. I interviewed her. I said, Tiffany, can I talk to you for a minute? Actually, no, we were doing an orientation, and she came in because she had never gone through the orientation with us to kind of just spend some time with me. And she stands up in the room and she tells the new people, you guys have an amazing opportunity here. What you guys don't know is this team changed my life. And I'm like,
You got my
what's
attention.
going on here?
Yeah.
And, you know, she said, she stands up, she's saying what she doesn't even know. Veronica doesn't even know that when I started on this team, I had $25 to my name. I was feeding my kids a baked potato and corn on the cob when we could afford it, and we're not even vegan. She was like, I could not afford to feed my children, but I did everything she told me to do and everything that this team told me to do. And here I am, I'm a success story today. And if you listen to this team and what they have for you and what she has in store for you, you will be successful. So then we're like, Tiffany, like, where did this come from? And she said, I felt like I had a responsibility to be a leader and let you know what you've done because I want to pay it forward. We start telling her story, and I've always kind of been a storyteller, but we start telling her story, and John Cheplack, you know, he tells you public recognition and recognizing your people is key. So I just go live with her. I just start telling her story. It pretty much goes viral. I have people from other states reaching out to me that Tiffany's story inspired them. I had other people saying, I want to join your team, or I want to join EXP because of Tiffany's story, or hey, you just inspired me to get deeper with my team. Storytelling is so powerful because there's someone out there who's lived that story, whether it's a smaller capacity, smaller pain point, whatever the case might be, maybe not as tragic. I spoke at Curator and I brought up Tiffany's story and I shared it. I had grown men in the audience crying. I had grown men in the audience saying, I need the help that Tiffany's on my team. I had grown men tell me that because of that story, they were able to build a stronger relationship with the people they had on their roster that they didn't even know. They were just a number before. And to me, had it not been for telling her story, had it not been for telling my story, had it not been for sharing the truths about life and just painting a picture that's beyond just, they're a rock star, they're a top producer, but the journey, how they got there, or the journey, how, you know, maybe that brokerage was always, you know, losing money and it was causing stress in their family. That story is what connects with people. Yeah. And that's what I talk about when I say the power of storytelling. And I think that we could get better at that.
Yeah, I love that. You know, the key thing that, you know, from your growth and everybody listening in and might be like, well, I'm not that. You know, what Veronica is really sharing with all of us is how she's grown as a leader, and leadership is a skill. And what you have to understand, anything that is a skill can be developed. What makes, you know, the jump from a good to a great leader is what Veronica just shared, in that you have to get to know your people. You have to get to know what makes them tick, how they make decisions, like really what is who they are at their core. That's how you become a great leader, and you really pour into those people. So I really appreciate you sharing that, because that was really, really impactful and really powerful. Public recognition, you know, for your team, share their story, is really key. So let's transition a little bit. You know, we're talking kind of loving on our people, and you know, tough love, right? Tough love, some accountability, right? Holding people to their commitments. Let's unpack this a little bit, because this is another key ingredient to, you know, being a really driving leader for your organization, your community.
The myth, the legend just walked by, John Cheplack. You know, I get to say hi to him, but it wouldn't be possible without something he taught me, that accountability is the highest form of love. Yep. Now, I love all my people. I'm going to tell the warm and fuzzies, but I'm the first one to crack at them too. You know, we're going through a lot of changes right now in our organization, and I can't say thank you enough to mentors like you guys for putting us in a room and learning from each other. And that's the power of this group, guys. You know, the masterminds and what they put together. But, you know, I was struggling with accountability. I'm like, I need to have better accountability, because it's different accountability when you have a team of 5. It's different accountability when you have a team of 7, 10, but now 40 plus staff. Yes. All this other stuff is like, oh God, I'm struggling with this. And I have to give credit where credit is due. Kyle Whistle, when we were in Key West, his, accountability matrix. And, we were doing things, but we were spinning our wheels. We're like, they got to make their calls, or they got to do this, or, we got to cut them off on their database if they have too many leads or this or that. We were kind of like in a rat race. We were just like, I can't figure this out. And it was just, Kyle was there to speak to my soul that day.
Yeah.
And just, again, we took action, and, we said, okay, we had met with Kyle in San Diego, and we followed up, and we then got the framework, and we took action because we knew we needed some accountability that would be scalable. So what we have done now is we've implemented Sisu, and it's amazing. But really what we did is, and you don't have to implement Sisu, you could just take the framework that Kyle did that, we knew was necessary to take our team to the next level. Our team, when we did a one-on-one with each and every one of them, you know what they were craving?
What's
accountability.
That? Accountability.
They were craving accountability, because 1099s and independent contractors, they're all over the place. But the one thing that they need is they need to feel safe too. Not everyone is that lone ranger entrepreneur. If they join your team or they want to be a part of your world, because they want some form of accountability. That's why John Kitchens does religiously his weekly, webinars, and making sure consistency. People like consistency. See, people like me, I didn't know that, because I'm like just, but it was reality is I was doing more harm when I didn't have the accountability in place. So I really wasn't loving on them. It's now the accountability we have in place. And again, this framework, you could follow it. I can't take credit for it. I copied off of, some of the other amazing people in this organization, which was, our, daily huddles, power hour, role-playing calls, our team meetings, or this we always did religiously on Tuesdays. And, now we're measuring them and holding them accountable by, if they don't show up, you know what? They don't get the same lead flow that other people do. They don't get to have those perks. They don't get now we're taking it even further. You don't get, once you, miss X amount of opportunities, then you also miss, if you don't show up to the team meetings or do the things that we're requiring you to do or encouraging you to do, then you also don't get these perks.
Right.
And that's okay, because you made that choice. We're not, you have the option to say that you're not going to do this, but it's against our culture, and it's not in standard. And guess what? They're either going to rise up or they're going to deselect.
Yeah.
And that's what we're fighting.
And that's cool.
But, and the funny thing is that as we're implementing these things and we're holding them a little bit more accountable and putting on the pressure, guess what? We're getting a lot more high fives. Thank you. We're getting a lot more, oh my God, I needed that. Oh my God, thank you. I'm crushing it. But then the public competition as well, that we're doing, all the challenges that are public, who's the leaderboard, and you guys do a great job of that when you post, like
top 100,
who's got top 100, right? Competition, it stimulates success. It gets people popping. It gets people like, I want to be number one. So we're publicly declaring it, not because we want to embarrass anyone, but we want to highlight those who are doing well. And that's what we're doing. And Sisu is an amazing a platform that I'm obsessed with. Yeah. That truly has just solved the solution for us, and it's super affordable. So that way, we see the dashboards. I mean, we're in 2020. People want to see technology. We have it on our phone. We can see the app. I can run my business from here. But it's just such a beautiful thing. But garbage in, garbage out, right, guys? You gotta inspect what you expect. So having our level 10 meetings as well with our team. Now our leadership team, we have our level 10. Now, if your team is not as big as mine, you could still do this with your small team, guys. Sure. It's read the book Traction, follow the EOS model, and find out what you're good at and what you're not good at. And this way you can hold your meetings with a true agenda and purpose and see, what did we accomplish this week? What are the areas that we're struggling in? What are the areas that we can really improve on? And let's tackle them in micro commitments weekly. Let's stop saying, oh, we're going to do all this, and then nothing gets accomplished. And we're doing the same thing with our agents. Look, this week, we just want you to go out there and do 2 open houses. Let's start with that. This week, let's just make sure you hit all your role-playing sessions. Let's start with that. What got in the way? What kept you from being able to do the open house? Oh, this and this. Okay. Where else is that showing up?
Take ownership.
How could we have supported you in that?
Right.
Is there something that you need? Is there, I'm not posting enough on Facebook. Do you need a class on Canva? Like, what are the things that we can do to help you? So we just started getting really, really clear on what accountability looked like. Sorry, I can't even say the word. And we started realizing it was what they wanted. So the accountability that we have on our team is love, because we love them and because we love our clients and because we truly believe in what we're trying to do. There has to be accountability.
100%. 100%. I mean, it is the driving force in helping not only you grow, but the organization grow, helping them grow, and becoming the best versions of themselves. And I can definitely say that meeting you for the first time in Key West 2018 and seeing the human being that you are today it's astonishing, and it is inspiring. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that I really wanted to grab you and make sure that, you were adding value and getting you to present at Key West as well. Right. And just being able to come in and just come from the heart like you always do.
One of the things that we're doing on accountability that I think is really fun, and I think anyone who's running a team and you're investing in leads, what do you have in place that you can maybe monitor those calls and role play and listen to those calls? And we just did an exercise, and it was the funnest thing. And I'll send you some pictures and some video, but we do really corny things on our team, right? We're big on Zillow, so those calls are recorded. So now what we do is every team meeting, we play a couple calls. We randomly select a call where everybody gets to hear the call. The person who's being selected doesn't even know they're being selected. But we come from it's a judgment-free space. You come from love. The feedback is to help you get better. And it's a form of our role playing. So but what we talk about is like an athlete, they go back and watch their film from game day. Sure. Right. And they look at, what are the areas that they can work on, and they're obsessed with getting better, right? And these people are making millions of dollars, and they're practicing, like Kyle says, for thousands of hours for just a couple hours of play, right? And then they go back and watch their film to see what they could have done better, to watch their competition. And that's what we're doing now on our team, like listening to the calls, listening to the calls on Zillow, listening to the calls on Call Action, listening to the calls. They get to hear it. They get to be the first one to say what they could have done better. We rate it with a numbers card, like 1 through 10. And then, I have a little bit of fun. Like if we were in a cruise, it's like, okay, I see a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5 for a final score of a 5.25776. And, they laugh and they chuckle. And the person is rated themselves. And then the team says, hey, listen, I thought you did a great job on that call. What I would have done differently, and I learned this from you guys, the hot seat, what I would have done differently is maybe I would have asked it this way. Or, hey, you missed this point. You forgot to tell them that you're going to send them a Zillow friend request. You forgot to tell them that, hey, we strive for 5-star service and you're going to receive a survey. And we really want to make sure that you receive the highest level of service on this call, and that, you felt that we, were able to help you and give a professional service. And it's really important for me and our team that, we earn that 5-star. So little things like that. All I do is sit back and be like, the magic is happening between all of them. They're holding each other accountable. Yeah. They're cheering each other on. They're self-critiquing. They're growing as a team. Right. And that's what accountability does. Because again, I could talk about the warm and fuzzy all day long and the inspire, but like the real work is happening behind the scenes. We're saying, okay, what do we need to do to get better? How are we getting better? How are we serving you? And you've designed and created that type of culture, and really your culture is what happens when you're not there, right? So like what is going on while you're not there is the real culture of your organization. And if your people are there, they're holding themselves accountable, they're having that tough love, they're getting better while you're not there, that's the culture, right? And that's the power, and that's the growth. And great job. And I know you guys are a work in progress. One final thing while we're wrapping up, what's the one thing that you are working on right now? Like, man, if I could just solve this, this is going to get me closer to the end of the day that I'm working towards. Oh, I am struggling it's, being completely honest with our onboarding, not EXP onboarding. EXP onboarding is great. It's been because of the massive amount of people we're bringing onto our team, the Figueroa team, we can't keep up with the onboarding. And that's just one of the things that, we're getting better at. We're identifying what are the areas we could probably scale. What can we do better at? So if there's anyone else out there who's mastered onboarding, I will be, all ears and super grateful, because, it's an area we've realized we didn't expect to come so quickly. I literally have 4 to 5 people wanting to interview to be on our team every week. And again, giving credit where credit is due, super grateful for, some of the things I've learned from this group, vetting people, hey, we would love for you to submit a video as to why the Figueroa team? Why do you want to join the Figueroa team? You know what that does? It instantly weeds out the people who aren't willing to do whatever it takes. And my recruiter's struggling with, but people are giving us resistance with that. I was like, then I don't want them on my team.
It's perfect.
It's okay. But maybe they're a good fit for EXP, maybe they're a good fit for something else. But for my team to be in my world that close on my team, and, we're, giving them a part of our lead flow, giving them a part of our energy daily in our personal space, I'm going to challenge these people to do things that are uncomfortable. And it starts with video. And I'm also going to challenge them to position themselves to be in the business for a long time. And whoever's not in business, whoever's not willing to do video, I don't know how they're going to survive in the future.
Right.
So I'm only trying to set that standard from the very beginning. So, the video screening is key. So we'll get them through the funnel, but then it's like, we got 5 people. So like coming on board, it's like, and then we got 5 more, and it's like, oh my God, like we can't keep up with that. So it's just like, the onboarding to then the first 90 days of success is different when it used to be a team of 17, a team of 30. So we're really working on that, because we want the agent to have the best experience. But what we do very well, and I would love for everyone to hopefully who's watching this find value out of this, is that we're honest with them. We tell them, hey, we're experiencing some growing pains. But what I can promise you is this: there's gonna be some hiccups sometimes.
Yeah.
But we'll get through it. And there'll be dysfunction, but we'll get through it. We welcome open and honest feedback. But what I promise you is I'm always going to turn the corner for you. I'm always going to be seeking opportunities for us, and I'm always going to push you to be better, and we're going to get better together. And that's one of the things that I always deliver in the interview room. If I feel that it's someone that I'm like, oh my God, we got a big fish. We got an $8 million producer who wants to be on our team. What do? We used to beg people to be on our team. We used to be the bad news bears. Now we like have status, right? But what I have found that these people appreciate is the truth, and that we let them know. And you know what they say? Well, we want to help you get better. What can we do to help? And I'm like, jackpot.
Yep.
So
I love it.
That's an area where we struggle, but we're getting better every day.
I love it. And I just love to ask that. So anybody listening in, if you have anything experience that works really well with the onboarding side of things when growing, reach out to Veronica, and definitely help her work through that. Veronica, what's the best way for people to connect and reach out to you?
You can reach out to me at veronicainspires.com, and you can hop on my calendar if you ever just want to hop on my calendar and have any, hop on a call. Always find us on Facebook, Veronica Figueroa. And my phone number is 407-301-9574. I'm always just a text message away, especially for my honey badger family. You guys have changed my life. And I'm just honored to be on this journey with you guys. Truthfully, it's you blessed my family in ways that I cannot even begin to express.
We're equally
and my
as
family
honored
are my
and,
agents too.
Yeah. I appreciate you making the time. I know your schedule's ridiculously crazy, and being able to jump in, enjoy your time in Nashville. Tell Mr. Chet Black we said, what's up? And man, really appreciate you. Veronica, thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
See you.